We're back on the Total-MLS Roundtable after a week off. The Roundtable has returned. I'm Dustin Richardson, your trusty host, bringing you all of the action of last week. We took off last week because, quite frankly, there was not much going on in the league. So many 0-0, 1-0. It was just boring. So, on the panel tonight, Tyler, making his weekly appearance. He's just finished eating. He's ready to go.
Oh, man.
His team has not conceded a goal all season. We'll leave it at that. And then we have Mike up in New York, still beaming off of Mike Grilla's chip.
That was a nice chip.
Which
average at best.
And there's Kyle, who was on the receiving end of that chip. And also, Higuain has not learned his lesson. Maybe you just don't talk to the refs next time. Maybe just walk away.
Maybe don't pull a guy from behind. I don't know.
Maybe, little things.
That's a foul. It was always a foul. It wasn't. It was the reaction that they were just like, okay, you're pathetic. Get out of here.
Okay, who do you think you are?
Yeah. Do you think you're anybody else on any other team? Get out of
Think
here.
you're Clint Dempsey? Listen.
Exactly.
Robbie Keane, you can do this. Columbus, out of here.
No.
All right, we'll go over this week's action, but I think it is very important to mention. On Friday, Canada won a soccer game. Right now, Canada is leading 2-0 in another soccer game. CONCACAF, beware. The Canadians are coming. That's all I have to say. They're making the hex this year. Rob's calling it. They're getting into the hex. All right.
Best off season for Canada.
So no Friday games this week, which is kind of a bummer. I guess.
Yeah, that was kind of hard actually. I didn't like that.
Yeah. We are now grown accustomed to Friday night
Spanish
games
lessons.
on MLS. Yeah, SAP button that doesn't work for me at least.
I know I didn't receive any text that said I just saw your ugly mug on television.
Yeah, if you haven't seen, Tyler's face is prominent in the lead-in to this Friday night game. He's kind of a star now. Him and all his closest friends. But first game of the weekend was Saturday in New England. New England against San Jose in front of a couple thousand people in some ridiculous weather.
Yeah.
It was like snowy, sleet, hail, wind, all kinds of nasty. And kudos to them for they said 10,000 something was the attendance.
10,000 would no way.
10,000
snowflakes.
10,000 tickets sold. That's
Yeah,
how MLS.
Maybe one amount of people were there.
That's how MLS reports attendance. You got to remember, tickets sold. They don't go by box office. 10,668 was the attendance. The weather, according to the MLS Match Center, snow/hail. So Kellen Rowe got rid of his man bun.
Yeah.
Finally.
Thank goodness. I hope there's a rebellion against it now.
And then he scored 2 goals. First 2 goals of the season for New England.
Coincidence? I don't think so.
Definitely not. Let this be a lesson to everyone.
Debatable 2 goals, if you ask me. They weren't. Dude, should they have both of them been on his credit? I don't know.
Yeah, the first one took a nice little deflection.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know what Bingham was doing. It looked like he still could have got it.
It looked to me like it was heading toward goal, which is how they...
Here we go,
Yeah.
Mr. Rules official.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, it was on net, so that's what it was.
FIFA, like I've had an own goal where it's like deflected on its way into the goal. Like
FIFA gives some ridiculous own goals.
So I mean, I guess, but that's the rule, right? It's if it's on the trajectory toward goal, if it gets deflected, then
True.
So,
Well, listen, New England hadn't scored all season. They needed some goals to. They were giving them both to Rowe, whether we liked it or not.
Yeah.
And then Wanda scored from the spot. I didn't see the foul. I didn't go back and look at it.
It was a foul in the box. It was pretty light, but it's a foul.
And then Wando,
Guy was running across the top of the 18 and like right on the line, and the defender came across.
Clipped him right.
yeah.
You know,
As long as Thibaut
Pretty
Courtois
soft.
isn't in net, Wando will score. And he did. But New England held on 2-1, their first win of the season, and basically puts them back into the playoffs in the East.
Oh my god.
I think they're now in fifth after one win.
One win in what, 4 games?
4 games. One win, two losses, and a draw puts them in fifth. Columbus 1 win, 2 losses is in 6th, tied with Toronto. So the East is really something.
well, the same could be said for RSL though. I mean, they were what,
right.
2 points or something? I don't remember.
There's been so many draws this
Yeah.
early in the season. It's like point here, point there. Everyone's going to be kind of bunched together.
Well, I mean, I saw a stat. 10 of the 16 games for East versus West teams were played out on the West. So, if you want travel, sometimes travel plays a factor. So, although Vancouver did go the longest MLS trip and win in Orlando.
That's got to be one of the longest trips in club soccer, like in the world.
Yeah.
Vancouver to Orlando. You got to think there's not many other. In Europe, maybe even the Champions League, they play.
Yeah, but I mean, you're going other. You're not playing. That's not club. That's like not international, but yeah.
Well, yeah, it's club, but it's not intra-league, so.
Yeah.
Like maybe Manchester to like Galatasaray. Pretty far, but damn, yeah, that's. I just came up with that off the top of my head. You're welcome. But yeah, I mean, New England, I think they're still kind of treading water.
They're missing Jermaine Jones. Wynn is just getting match fit, so I'm sure down the line they'll either have another like 10-game losing streak and a 10-game winning streak and make it into the playoffs, or they'll I think New England will be fine in all honesty. I hope they're not, but
Canada just went up 3-0. Soccer, as we know it, is come to an end. The powerhouse known as Puerto Rico. CONCACAF powerhouse collide. Canada v. Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
You throw the record out when those two get
Did you guys
together.
think of hearing that Jermaine Jones has been playing injured for the past year?
I was just about to bring that up, and Jurgen knew about it, and
yeah, U.S. Soccer saying he didn't that's
they told him to get the surgery after
right.
U.S. camp.
It's a January camp. I mean, first off, it was a pretty terrible January camp. Secondly, you don't really need. The purpose of January camp really is to look at a lot of younger talent or guys that aren't in the picture that might be pushing their way in the picture for at least qualifying and Gold Cup, not even for the actual World Cup in 2018. But to have Jermaine Jones come in injured is because what happens if it was like a really bad injury and it got worse and it ended his career, and then what do you do?
New England, someone else with an envelope.
Wasn't it a sports hernia, though? I mean, he's not the first guy to play through a sports hernia.
No, but he knew he needed surgery.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, as a New England fan, I'd be pretty pissed.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could have gotten it a month earlier, I mean, he's only missed a month right now. Like you could have been that much closer to playing 4 games in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially like you said, it's not like he went to the World Cup and tried to play through it. He played through January friendlies against, I don't remember who they played, but
it's actually quite awful.
At Camp Cupcake, when it's all the MLS guys that they just call in because the European guys are in the middle of the season.
And here's a thought: instead of taking Jermaine Jones, take Kellen Rowe, take other guys who don't get to come in often or something like that. I mean, there's plenty of MLS guys that are on that fringe that could have used a look at camp, and I mean that three back system really didn't work well, and he didn't look really good at center back at all. So I don't see what the like. It just makes it worse. Like it's compounding, that all how bad his play actually was, and then you come out, well, okay, he needed surgery, all right, I understand that, but why did Klinsmann play him?
Yeah, and especially how important he is to New England. I mean, shoot, they got him last year and
they made him almost
changed their season. Yeah, I mean, obviously it wasn't just him, but they probably wouldn't have been in MLS Cup without him. But hopefully he's coming back pretty soon because they really need him. And hopefully they're not playing him at center back like Jurgen wants to. He goes back to his natural role with New England because I think that experiment maybe should just be tossed.
Same thing with Brad Evans in Seattle, but that's a story for a different time.
Whew. If Mark was here, he could tell us about the great Brad Evans experiment.
No, he would defend Brad Evans.
He would.
He'd be like, no, we have to give him 5 or 6 more weeks.
Listen, to be a complete center back, you need to have at least 8 games in.
Oh.
They played Tijuana last week. Last week, and they played like all their backups and then Evans at center back, just to get him more.
But I mean, he played awful. Well,
that one game.
Yeah. One game, but the other one he's okay. I didn't like his instincts at center back, to be honest with you. Sometimes he was pinching when he shouldn't have been, and a couple of times is Pineda. Is he like the worst midfield? Well, defensive midfield I've ever seen. I mean, I don't even know. Like, he gives up on plays halfway through, and it's like, wow, that was really awful.
Yeah, they're definitely missing Ozzie Alonso there.
Yeah, he kind of runs around sometimes, like he doesn't know where he's going, and he should challenge balls, and he just kind of.
Man, I know he's not like a defensive midfielder per se, but Jesus, he gives up on a play when they are running straight toward goal, and Brett Evans is pinching because he's trying to create a double team, and then he just lets him go like it's nothing. It's like, oh, now Brett's somewhere near.
Yeah.
It's gotten out of control. Our friend Rob just retweeted someone, "I'm packing for Russia." #CanadaMNT. The Canadians are packing for Russia. So
well, good for them.
But then they have the actual clothing to match it.
Look what we've done. They're beating Puerto Rico 3-0, and they're going to the World Cup.
Puerto Rico today, England tomorrow.
Apparently they're trying to host coming up, so they'll be at least able to get into that World Cup. That hurts.
I'd go down.
Nice.
Will that be the worst team to get in the World Cup since? Well, I guess Qatar getting in the World Cup will be the worst.
Absolutely.
Qatar.
But then South Africa was pretty damn bad.
Yeah, they were bad. I mean, at least they weren't getting stomped.
Yeah.
Qatar's
whoever gets in
destroyed.
Qatar's group is gonna love that.
Qatar is
so
like,
we know it's not going to be the United States, so we can end that.
No, it'll be Brazil or somebody, so that the Qataris can get all excited about playing Brazil in December.
And then lose 8-0.
Brazil and Poland or something if they all make it. And that'll be the group. And then everything else is going to be just a clusterfuck.
It'll be in the winter, though, so it'll be a balmy, like 92 degrees.
Nice.
Instead of 160.
I don't even watch that Qatari one. I'm still...
Pack the jacket.
Yeah. We might have to boycott. All right, back to MLS. Sorry, Canada threw us off. Next game, Montreal 2, Orlando 2. That was a very good first half. The second half slowed down quite a bit.
Yeah.
Montreal went up quickly, McInerney's goal was pretty sweet. I'm glad he's back playing. But man, they're now with Map out, and now Porter's done for a while with his
This season,
ACL.
they said, probably.
Yeah, which sucks. Man, that's especially with their run in the Champions League. They had a good first leg, but
Yeah, well, I mean, they can't use, Kronberg. They can't use Alexander. There's a couple guys.
Yeah, they can't use
They
Alexander.
They can't use in the Champions League. So, I mean, it's been pretty well for them. I don't think you can really fault Kronberg on Kaká's goal.
That's so Montreal too, that like two of their new signings and their good players are from the only other teams that were in the Champions League
Yeah.
from MLS, so they happen to be cup tied. Like,
And then if they ever get a Youngo, like that's a really, really ugly situation that's just getting worse.
yeah, that whole thing is could spend an hour just talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and then
I'll allude to it. What's the latest?
The last I saw, 4 or 5 days ago on, I think it was Once a Metro, was that Youngo's agent came out and said that, or no, not Youngo's agent, Rainbow FC said that Youngo who signed a contract with, that he did sign a professional contract, not an amateur contract. He signed a professional contract. So that means they had his rights to trade, which they trade, MLS bought Youngo's contract. So initially he was on loan to the Red Bulls, and then this offseason they bought the rights to him, and then 2 weeks later they traded him to Montreal. And the whole thing is his agent and him are pissed because Youngo just doesn't want to go to Montreal. He figured he'd get more press worldwide playing in New York. So he wanted to stay in New York and play in New York and stuff like that.
Montreal? Come on.
And not play in Montreal. So now that's the whole thing they're trying to pull with, he never had a pro contract, so anything MLS did with him is invalid. Which, yeah. So then the Rebels go out and they get another player from Rainbow FC.
The inner workings of MLS contracts.
Yeah.
Always such a shady.
No, I think this is on the agent and Youngo, because he wanted to go to Europe, and then Rebels said no, we'll pay you and stuff like that, and then they traded him.
Oh, Ollie Curtis, just some back alley deals.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could stay here. It's cool. Oh, you're going to Montreal. See ya. That was part of the Alexander trade, right?
Yeah, the two of them for
Alexander
Felipe and basically Question.
Oh yeah, for the allocation spot. Anyway, Montreal, Orlando. Orlando played in the Olympic Stadium again, didn't they? I think.
I think so.
You mean Montreal?
Montreal. Is that what I said? Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah,
Montreal.
they always play their early season games in Olympic Stadium. Because I used to know Henri would never play on turf. He always missed the first Montreal away game.
I guess it's too cold now.
Yeah.
So, I would have thought they would have played, especially the Champions League games outside.
It's Puerto to really mess with the Mexican teams. Yeah.
They're playing a Costa Rican team this round. They wouldn't know what the heck to do if it just started snowing.
What? They would complain that it shouldn't.
Oh yeah. Forgot. Costa Ricans don't deal well with snow games.
They'd be so pissed.
We can send them to.
But I mean, they also sold. Didn't they have like 35,000 people or something in their stadium for that?
Yeah.
For the Champions League, yeah. They had 20.
Yeah.
They had over 25 for the Orlando game, so.
I guess that's why ticket sales.
You get that money. They get that money. Gotta pay those. Gotta pay those guys. All those massive DPs they have.
And Kaká can't use the argument that I don't play on turf because that's all he plays on.
Yeah, Kaká's played on a couple games on turf. He's played on the the beautiful field at BBVA Compass Stadium. That's about it.
All right.
So he's thinking, wow, the hell am I doing? But he's gonna win goal of the week this week because he's nominated. It's like the Beckham effect. Beckham could have scored for, like a tap in from 3 yards out with the keeper like suffering a broken ankle, and Beckham would win goal of the week.
Well, Dempsey did that too, so
Kaká has what, like 30 million Twitter followers?
Yeah.
He doesn't even run his own Twitter.
He's gonna win in a landslide. It's like
Yeah, but they don't know that. His fans don't know that.
His fans don't know what the hell a goal of the week is. Like, what? What the hell? What is this? Also, shout out to our guy Nacho Piatti scoring a penalty and then getting a yellow card for excessively celebrating a penalty. Really, it's a penalty kick. Why are you?
Right. That's beautiful though.
I mean, if you score from like 30 yards out on a volley or something, sure.
I can see excessively celebrating a penalty if it's the 91st minute MLS Cup and you're tied. You guys get a penalty and that wins the game. I can see.
The only way to excessively celebrate a penalty kick is if you rip off your shirt and you're showing your sports bra to the world after winning. That is the only way to do it.
Winning the World Cup, yeah.
Imagine
if you're Landon Donovan and you're mocking her, then it's funny too. Otherwise, those are the only 2 options.
Not after 14 minutes of a MLS regular season game.
No, absolutely not.
The 14th minute of
it's more acceptable to excessively celebrate saving said penalty shot rather than if you celebrate making a shot. Like, come on.
Yeah.
It's like that's like celebrating that you didn't burn your toast in the toaster.
Nacho, calm down, please. You scored a much better goal in the Champions League. Celebrate that. All right. DC 1, LA nothing. What looked like another 0-0 for almost up until the end, and then another goal of the week nominee, Chris Pontius, with a stunning strike from 4 yards out.
Yeah, it was like right on the edge of the box, wasn't it?
Yeah. To give DC the win. I mean, I guess the timing and it won the game and stoppage time, and it was a nice run by De Leon.
Also,
the goal itself.
It was a nice chip in by De Leon.
Because who was the goalkeeper?
Brian Rowe.
Yeah, Brian Rowe. He's a West Coast goalkeeping guy too, so he's on the same sponsor. But so I feel badly, but I feel like he should have saved that. That was kind of weak, actually.
It looked like he didn't know what to do. The ball got to the end line, and he kind of like froze. And then he went for it, and then he went back, and
I feel like he
got caught.
Been able to get there, but
Pinedo would have saved it.
I think so. I think so.
Pineda has a hard time with crosses, doesn't he? Though sometimes, like judging them also.
Yeah, but he didn't come out to the cross. He just
no. That's what I'm gonna say. So
yeah.
Rose on my fantasy team.
Pinedo has a hard time coming out of the box like De Gea did back in the day when it was just a floated ball. He doesn't quite know how to judge and.
Like Michael Spurning.
Yeah.
Coming out and just like catching the ball 30 yards from goal. One of my favorite all-time moments in MLS history.
What was against the Raptors, right? Yeah, I think so.
I think it was in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That was amazing. But yeah, DC, good win for them.
Didn't Jimmy Nielsen do that also? At Sporting Park's first game, he came out and he handled the ball like 15 yards past the box.
Listen, keepers are weird. You guys know this.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Two of us
Everybody
are.
except Steve Clark. Everybody else is weird. Steve Clark's a cool one.
Steve Clark does wrestling chants. He's cool. He's cool for that. So DC, nice one for them. That was only their 3rd game since they had the Champions League break. It's 2 wins and 3. LA's first loss.
It was good to see LA lose. Whatever.
Yeah.
No salt.
Yeah, but they were the first of 5, okay? They were the first of 5.
First to 5. Also, they had like a B team, but you know. What are you gonna do?
I don't care why they lost. They lost.
No, they had Alan Gordon. He's their magic
yeah.
99,
But
last minute game winner. So
yeah,
why couldn't he do it this week?
they had
That
Ishizaki.
works if Keane is on the pitch. Like that's the luck charm thing. Oh yeah, he's Irish. Sorry, that was a rude joke.
Ouch.
Plus, you can't start Alan Gordon.
No, you can't. And maybe the inverse happens. Maybe you give up a goal in the 90th.
Yeah. See what happens. See.
I think that's a very good correlation.
Yeah, this is science.
You got
Any white lab coats.
You got to start Edson Buttle and then bring on Gordon.
Oh God. Yeah, you have. If you want goals,
Edson Buttle.
If you have a chance,
Yager of MLS.
if you have a chance to start, if you have a chance to start Edson Buttle, wouldn't any team jump at that? I mean, honestly,
maybe, but not a professional team.
Any USL team.
Every YMCA in America wants Edson Buttle on their team.
I kind of want Edson Buttle to go to LA Galaxy 2 and score like 30 goals this year and just and prove all the haters wrong that Edson Buttle was on a World Cup team. God, those were the days.
Well, he played really well that year.
Yeah, didn't he score like against South Africa in like one of the friendlies, and everyone thought he was like the second coming? We found the forward.
And then he got fat. That happened.
Yeah.
Hey, people get fat.
Hashtag Nike.
Do you think that him and Eddie Johnson communicate over what it is they're doing and try to be identical? I feel like that's probably the case, right?
Yeah, I sometimes forget they're not the same person, actually. It's weird. Yeah. I see them both, and they're both tweeting out, like, I got my new sneaks, hashtag Nike, or I got my new sunglasses, and these are really sweet. Thanks, Ray-Ban, hashtag Nike.
And then he's like,
What's wrong with you?
Congratulations, I can buy my own things and tweet about them too.
Hey guys, I don't know. Hey guys, I went to Sunglass Hut. Check out my tweet. Oh, let's see.
He once did a double selfie in the same tweet and then hashtagged it Nike, but I don't think he was even wearing anything Nike in it. He just constantly Nike. I'm sure he has to fill some kind of quota.
A couple of weeks ago, he tweeted hashtag mood, hashtag good morning, hashtag Monday, hashtag LA with an Instagram picture.
There's no hashtag Nike?
It just full hashtags, the entire. And
Nike dropped
the worst.
It's a picture of an elephant. What? So if you're watching this on YouTube, that's what Edson Buttle tweets.
Oh God.
So yeah, just check out his Instagram or his Twitter. Count him to have hashtag Nike.
And he still plays in MLS.
Insane.
God love him. Hey, he's still getting paid. So, I mean,
yeah,
you know.
He got paid for the Rapids too. To score what, 3 goals I think in his tenure, maybe 4.
Wow, that's a stunning return.
Yeah, what was it, $300,000 for 4 goals?
Oh, here's a tweet. He tweeted hashtag Lob City, hashtag NBA, hashtag LA, hashtag Bulls, hashtag MLS, hashtag Nike.
Yes, hashtag Nike.
So he's talking about the Bulls, the Clippers, hashtag MLS. Apparently he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't understand. I don't know. Whatever. Edson, if you ever want to come on the show and talk about your Twitter, Instagram,
it'll be something like this. It'll be a cameo of him and Eddie Johnson. With a cool hat on, or
check out my new sneaks. Yeah, guys, I'll come on the show and talk about my sneaks. All right, moving on. NYCFC, the darlings of MLS, suffered their first loss of the week of the season.
Not anymore, 'cause they're not the darlings because David Villa didn't play. So
yeah, Villa didn't play. Late scratch. I guess he had some.
Do you know why? I didn't see.
Groin strain. And when he was asked about it after the game, if he'd be able to go in 2 weeks by this week, he just gave a thumb up.
He's still working on his English.
Yeah.
But Sporting scored. Opara Golden Boot, gonna win the Golden Boot.
Good header.
Matt Beasler with a nice throw from first base.
That was a great corner throw. Great corner throw.
Great throw to the back post.
Yeah, it was like at the corner kick type position, but he just threw it. Basically, it was a corner kick. But,
yeah, that when you have a field that narrow, you can, and you have it. And somebody was talking about that on Twitter. You would have thought like that New York City would have went for some of those guys in like the expansion draft or in trades and stuff, knowing that that's a huge weapon.
Field, yeah, they didn't.
That they didn't go for somebody that has a big throw. I mean, obviously not Beasler, but anyone with a big throw, because that's a pretty dangerous weapon if you can just throw it right into the 6-yard box. I mean, Beasler...
You can throw it into the net.
Yeah. I don't know if you could throw it directly into the net, but...
It has to touch somebody.
Yeah, it has to touch somebody.
But he could basically throw it into the net and hope like the goalkeeper he gets confused by it or something.
It's close enough he could throw it hard enough to where the keeper maybe deflects it in or something.
Goal, no matter what.
Did you guys see that video? There was I want to say it was a college game where a guy from almost like midfield.
Yeah, I think it was high school.
Or high school, yeah, and the keeper, all he needed to do was just let it go in.
He tried to jump and tapped it.
Yeah, he tried to jump and it was just awful and touched it and then it went in and it was like, are you kidding me, dude?
Yeah, he tries to make some upper 90 save on a throw in.
Yeah.
What are you doing? just let it fly in. Yeah, that was pretty terrible.
The whole team would have cheered and he would have just laughed and be like, and I'm putting the ball on the spot. Cause,
the front flip for the throw in?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, and everyone was freaking out about how it was an amazing goal, but no one mentioned, that fact.
The keeper messed it up.
The keeper just could have stood there. And
it's an own goal at that point. I mean, no matter what, it's an own goal.
Poor keeper.
Right.
People do that in 9v9 and 7v7, and they cheer, and there's the ball go on the net, and I'm like, nope, goal kick, thank you.
Yeah.
Perhaps the biggest news for the weekend for New York City, Super Frank Lampard in attendance at Yankee Stadium. He took his picture and everything. He got a selfie of him chilling in the suites, watching the game. I wonder his thoughts when he saw
the suites at Yankee Stadium. Are they close enough to see the field, or
no?
He was like way down the left field line. It looked like. If you've seen the picture.
No, I haven't seen it.
I'm gonna find it and tweet it from the Total-MLS.
But nothing that NYCFC does really makes me want to find it on the internet ever.
There's such a love-hate with NYCFC. People love to hate them.
Yeah.
But their fans. I mean, I gotta give it to them. They're behind them.
Well, they're having a lot of supporter clash right now.
Yeah, I heard they had some issues.
Supporter clash? What the hell? They've had 3 games.
Well, so one of the supporters groups, I just know the main one's called the Third Rail. Like that's the public one that you always see.
Yeah.
A lot of their people were getting, they had harassing language, racist language, homophobic language thrown at them, and they're like, you're there to support the same club. Like, why are you, your own fans, saying all these things? Because I read a post, I forget where it was, and someone was saying, I understand calling the ref an a-hole. Like, we get that. Refs make bad calls. That's what we do. We take our frustrations on the ref. Like, everyone does that. It's okay. But yelling at other supporters of your own team and being that blatantly disrespectful and to the point of harassing is just like, it doesn't make any sense. And that's what a lot of these fans are saying. Like, we don't want this. We want to go and support the team. Just knock the crap off. We're new. Let's not let this be prevalent this early in our stage of an MLS team. So
did you see the Rachel Bonetta video for MLS Now for NYCFC and then also the New York Red Bulls one?
I watched the Red Bull one.
Okay, so go back and watch them back to back. But first watch the NYCFC one, right? And they are like, she's doing all these cool little dances, but there is absolutely no passion, absolutely none. Because then you go to the Red Bull one, and it's like, it's intense, and it's like a supporter's culture, and it's so cool and so passionate and so awesome. It's like they just don't know what they're doing. Like,
I mean, maybe it's their. I mean, I've seen the supporter section once at Red Bull Arena, and it was fantastic. Although we got our butts whooped by San Jose in the playoffs, that's neither here nor there. But they've been doing it a lot longer, in all honesty, than NYCFC. So maybe they have to get into it, because a lot of these people weren't MLS fans, they weren't Red Bull fans. Some are, but not all.
I'm not
So
going to make
the ones
for them for that. That's
no,
ridiculous.
I know.
I mean,
Uh,
they could have supported
No,
the results.
No, I know, but I'm just saying. I think a lot of their leadership, who's leading all this, they just don't know how to act in the supporter culture yet. Maybe a custom. They
were
start when they
hired
start.
by the club. They were hired by the team. That's why.
Maybe we can
Uh-oh.
send AO Seattle out there to help them.
Oh, jeez.
Don't they run all of the camps and stuff for the Outlaws?
Yeah. I remember.
Didn't they come to Crew Stadium and run all the chants, Kyle?
Well, that's what they tried to do, and then they denied it, and then they said, no way would anybody ever do that, and because like Columbus is a pretty legitimate like AO culture, and they like killed the tifos for that Mexico game, but USA Soccer tried to send in Seattle because they wanted it to be like Seattle, and Columbus was like, get the hell out of here. This is our stadium. Get out. Do you know what Dos a Cero even means, Seattle?
Like that's the thing. I mean, you trust Columbus on that game. If there's any constant, it's U.S. hosting Mexico in the Hex in Columbus. Like you trust them. Don't mess with something that works.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't mess up a proven commodity.
Why would you that was the last place that you should have ever been like, hey, we need to send somebody. If the game was in New England, yes, send everybody.
Is that
going to be 10,000 people there.
Is that the game Landon missed a penalty too? That would have made it 3.
Dempsey missed
No,
it.
Dempsey
missed
yeah.
it. That would have made it 3-0.
I was actually
awesome.
I was in a bar and with a sock, some guys that just didn't have any idea. They're like, oh, it's going to be 3-0. I was like, bet you a beer it's not. And they're like, no, this is going to be an easy goal. I was like, I bet he misses it. Bet he misses it. And then he blows it wide. And they're like, are you kidding me? How does that happen? Does he miss those often? I was like, well, when it's in the 90th minute and Dos a Cero is written everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, he ain't messing that up.
Anyway.
All right, I put the picture of Frankie enjoying the game from his perch at Yankee Stadium.
Don't call him Frankie. There's only one Frankie in this league, okay? One.
Well, he's not
Frankie Gallup?
Although we all love Frankie Hayduk, he's not in the league.
Frankie Klopas?
Frankie gets paid to be Frankie. He's the best. He gets paid to drink and be Frankie. That's the coolest job I've ever heard of.
It's a pretty sweet job.
It is true.
All right, so moving on to the next game. Our first taste of Cascadia this year. I think it was the first Cascadia game, right?
Yeah.
I don't
Yes.
know. Vancouver likes to remind people that they have the Cascadia Cup. They're like the stepbrothers of Cascadia. Everyone forgets about Vancouver. I feel bad for them, but they they're fun to watch, and they kind of which we'll get to the RSL Toronto game. It was kind of a similar happening there. Audi scored. We thought they were. Portland was going to get a point, and then all of a sudden, Robert Earnshaw makes an appearance, scores on his debut. Robert Earnshaw back in the league. A team like Chicago could probably use a scorer like him. Oops.
Ooh.
That hurt. But Earnshaw scores, wins the game for Vancouver. I mean, it was a well-taken goal, I guess. He goal scorer's goal, one would say. He finished it, what he was supposed to do. Stoppage time. Everyone who was writing about the game had to go in and delete everything they'd written. Because Earnshaw just gave him the win. Those are always the best. Always a good. It's always good games between them. All those Cascadia games are good, but think people are kind of selling Vancouver short. They're gonna be pretty good this year.
Yeah, let's talk about selling. I don't know if you guys have seen that "Don't buy the scarf" thing.
Yes.
Yes.
I think we would be remiss if we didn't talk about that, at least for
What
a
is
moment.
this?
Go ahead.
Tell me more.
So the Cascadia Cup is owned by the people, the supporters, right? It's like an independent group that runs the Cascadia Cup because they own the trademarks, international and national. And the Vancouver Whitecaps allegedly sent an email saying that they have requested permission to make a scarf about this instance. And as a part of that council, right, would have had to have received it and either denied it, or if they don't deny it, you're allowed permission, right? So they just have to deny it. Well, they never, due to a glitch, they didn't get the email. So the Vancouver Whitecaps actually produced this ridiculous scarf, whatever it is, and it obviously made everybody angry. So they said, okay, well, you should sell it if you want, but give the proceeds to whatever
Charity.
one of our charities, or something a little more classy. And the Vancouver Whitecaps were like, not going to happen. So they just sold it. That's why all the supporters were doing that, and I think that's kind of shady as hell. But whatever.
In the end, because I read the email from, I guess, one of the Vancouver. I don't know if he was a president or he was one of like the someone on the board. But he, I then read something later in the day that said Vancouver agreed to donate all proceeds to a charity. So I guess I'm pretty sure our Vancouver writer had retweeted that, but I'm not 100% on that.
Good on them if that's the case.
Yeah.
If not, then that's pathetic.
Yeah.
I think didn't it say Kings of Cascadia or something? Since they
Yeah,
won.
it was something that
Kings of
had to do with the
Cascadia
cup.
or something with Cascadia Cup or something, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Vancouver on their way to another Cascadia Cup, beating Portland.
Which I think is hilarious that they won Cascadia Cup, but
I think they've won a couple years in a row now.
yeah.
I'll
look it up.
Seattle won the Supporter Shield last year, but they didn't get the cup. So Vancouver 3 wins in 4 games. So pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good start. They the West is going to be tough all year. So who'd have thought Dallas, Vancouver, San Jose is the top 3 in the West?
If that's the top 3 at the end of the season, that would be
Well,
super.
yeah. We'll see. Probably not. I wouldn't bet a lot of money on it, especially the San Jose part. But
But I wouldn't
We'll
bet
see.
money on like any team really. Maybe LA, but
yeah, if you had to bet a month's salary right now on who's winning MLS Cup, would you feel confident with anyone?
no.
No.
I'm definitely
Definitely not.
Not at all. I would just basically roll the dice on someone.
Well, the only team which is the same team that I said at the beginning, which is Dallas, they're the only team that I think are talent-wise up in that. But
They'll choke. That's
yeah,
what they do.
they do that. So, yeah.
That's Dallas for you.
Vancouver won in 2014 and 2013, and then they won in 2008.
Back-to-back
And-
champs though, at the moment.
That's why they're Kings of Cascadia.
Why did Seattle not participate 2009 and 2010? They're just like, no way, we're too cool for this.
They were in MLS, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
The other 2 were still
Yeah.
not in MLS.
Yeah.
Portland and Vancouver came
Yeah,
after
okay,
them,
right.
so they couldn't have played them. I mean, I guess it was friendly or something. Seattle came in
okay, that makes
Seattle came in 2009, and Portland and Vancouver came in 2011. I think.
Yeah, they must have. Yeah. That
Yeah,
makes
so
sense.
they had a couple years where did they give it out to one of them?
Yeah, they gave it out to.
The
I
two
think
teams in
Portland won
USL?
both those years.
I
Yeah, Portland won both those years.
was going to say, when was the last time Portland won? Because they don't seem to.
They won it in 2012.
I mean, you can't draw the Cascadia Cup, right?
Was that John
No.
Spencer's?
It might have been Spencer's. That was probably the year he got fired, right? Because Porter came
2013.
Yeah.
20.
That's when Pecky started together. So, oh no, that was who was their technical director and coach?
Gavin. What's his
Wilkinson.
face? Yeah,
Wilkinson. Yeah, he was the coach for the end of that season.
the great. But Caleb Porter owns Pep Guardiola, so just remember that.
It's true.
Owns him. Just all up in his business. All right. Then now we get to the two games that happened in Texas this weekend. No goals in either one. Tyler had to watch the beautiful display Houston, Colorado on tape on the replay. Tyler, were you as excited about it as I was?
No.
And by excited, I mean nearly falling asleep.
Yeah, it wasn't great. It certainly wasn't good.
Tyler Derrick, looking to speaking of awards with people's names on them, the Tyler Derrick Save of the Week. He might be winning his third. He made another nice save. Other than that, not much to talk about from that game. The Dynamo were without Giles Barnes, Jermaine Taylor, Boniek Garcia, Luis Garrido. So it was kind of a mishmash. Of course, Barnes scored on his debut for Jamaica, which was pretty sweet. After in his first start for Jamaica, for the English-born Giles Barnes made his one-time switch to Jamaica, and he scores. So that's just great because now he'll be at the Gold Cup probably, and the Dynamo leading scorer will be missing games. So that's awesome. But we have Will Bruin, who.
I was gonna say, what happened to Will Bruin?
Listen, if I was to describe Will Bruin as struggling, it would be nice. Bruin whiffed a header, which is kind of hard. On Saturday, he whiffed a header. He shanked a ball maybe as bad as you could shank a ball. Like, he kind of Rivero'd it, like where he kicked it behind him. I don't know. His regression has been just. I don't know. It's really hard to explain because he was so good in his, I guess it was his rookie year or his sophomore year, the second year, and I don't know. Maybe he misses Kinnear. Maybe I don't know. He's not the same player.
How old is he?
Oh, he's
26, 27?
He is. Let's see. Bruin was born in 1989, so he's
25, 21, 26.
He'll be 26 in October.
Wow.
So he's only 25. Yeah.
So he has time to turn it around. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's like I said, maybe it's the new system, but he definitely misses Barnes being up top with him.
Yeah.
The crazy thing about Barnes is only 26, but you would think he's like 30-something because he had such a career in England.
Because he's English.
Career.
And here. He's in MLS and he's English.
What? There's a guy from England that's 25.
Right. Never mind Luke Mulholland or
the great Luke Mulholland. Anyway, that's enough about Houston and Colorado.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I mean, there were a couple of good chances. In fact, that one play, I can't remember what time it was, but it was Gabby Torres took a ball off the chest and flicked it on to Sarvis.
Nice.
And Sarvis toe poked it, but he caught it while it
hit it. Yeah.
on the volley and knocked it straight downward and bounced.
That was Derrick's save. Yeah.
Good save. Great
He
save.
definitely mishit that. Yeah, it was right in front of me.
I mean, if
I
he
thought for sure it was a goal.
That on like a solid clean hit, that's a goal. There's no way Ingrid's getting
it. Was such a sweet chest trap.
I know.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I thought the Rapids had looked
Rapids haven't conceded all year. They also haven't scored all year.
They look pretty good.
Three 0-0s.
Last year we did the same thing, only we were gifted penalties. Like for the first 2 games, we had what, 4 penalties or 5 penalties in the first 3 games last season. So only 1 non-penalty goal. But I was looking at the statistics last 2 days ago or something, and it was like we've now in 37 games played, we've only scored 35 goals, I think, maybe no, 34 goals, non-penalty goals, excuse me. Not to mention own goals or whatever, and we've had goals. We've had like 3 games or 4 games where we've had three or more goals. So it's just like, my God, we have several games where we have tons of goals and then we just don't score forever.
The Rapids haven't won since July 30th, 2014. They beat Chivas USA.
Yep.
They also have gone over 8 hours now without scoring a goal. Also against Chivas, October 11th.
Yep.
So maybe if Chivas comes back in the league, maybe you guys just need to play Chivas.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dude, these stats are so bad for.
They're awful.
This is supposed to be a pro MLS blog.
The funny thing is I thought this season, like,
Facts.
they've been playing pretty well. It's just
Yeah, I thought they
terrible.
I mean, I was watching them for 90 minutes. I did Saturday and seeing them in person. I mean, they're not a bad team. They bunker a little, which was kind of to be expected in the second half on the road. They were going for a draw, but I mean, they have some creative players. It's a matter of time before the mustache gets him going.
I think he's been here a season and a little bit more, So if you're not going to get him going now, it's funny because he started off really slowly, picked up a little bit, and then just died. He just died off at the end, and he's not going anywhere. I think the talent on the team is actually very good, and as soon as they come to the realization that they don't need him, and they just start banding together or something, it'll be nice. Maybe then they'll start winning something. But don't be surprised if the Rapids have a game next week, the week after, where we score 4 goals and only give up 1. I promise.
It'll probably happen.
Well, that's what they do. It's feast 1 game and then famine for 5 or 17. And then,
For 17.
and then the season.
All right, so the other game in Texas also 0-0. Dallas and Seattle, which was kind of the marquee game, I think, for a lot of people coming into the weekend.
Down, man. Almost the entire game.
Yeah, Kellen Acosta decides to just go cleats up into someone's junk area.
I saw a lot of tweets questioning whether or not it was a red.
Yes, I did too. A lot of people questioning that it was a red.
I think
there's no such thing as a soft red, dude.
Well, Casey Keller started it.
Yeah, because he's an idiot. That's
He
not.
said that the ball was at that height, and so he was his foot was up where the ball was.
The height of someone's chest. Like, seriously, I think Kellen Acosta was thinking like 24 hours ahead to WrestleMania and some of the things he was going to see there, because
it's not wise to show your cleats on a challenge on the ground,
Right.
like onto a guy's ankle.
Right.
To show your cleats on a challenge into a guy's man area,
Yeah.
that's probably going to be a red.
And the game's rules actually do not change at the pro level. They're not different.
They do not.
In MLS versus the Premier League. So if it's a foul, a red card here, it's a red card there. So Casey's saying, oh, well, apparently here that's a red card.
Yes, that was it too. Yeah. Well, in the Premier League, that's a yellow.
Studs
But here,
to the stomach, or I don't know, if it's like chest, stomach area. It's like studs to the stomach and chest. That's a red always.
Yeah,
maybe
always.
Maybe he saw Nigel de Jong's tackle and thought,
Oh,
And
red.
it's anybody with a name that anybody's heard of on the top 10 teams in the Premier League, that's banishment for 3 games.
Yeah.
Diego Costa did it, it's banishment for 10.
Does Casey Keller think Rafa Marquez shouldn't have gotten a red against Tim Howard?
Steven Gerrard was done wrong the other day against Manchester United, according to Keller.
No, that's a yellow only. That's a yellow or something.
That's maybe a yellow, maybe.
That's the fine line. Is it stamping if he puts it to his stomach?
See, and I don't know if Keller was trying to be not biased and maybe playing I hope he was just trying to play the other side of it, and he doesn't really think that, because and I know the Dallas people are saying that said it's not a red. Okay, that's your team and you have their back, but for Keller to say that, how many soccer games has he watched in his life? Thousands. Challenge is a red 100 out of 100.
How many times is he on the bench for the U.S. now? Like, I don't want a U.S. assistant coach thinking that's not a red.
I think the issue is that the referee did a continuation, which
Right.
also is
And-
not a thing in professional refereeing. You cannot continue on a red card. It's a stoppage of
No. Yeah.
Not according to our friend Corey Rockwell, MLS referee.
Oh, okay.
He
What is
said Kevin Stott played a gutsy and correct advantage after this, very
Okay.
rare on a red card foul.
A correct advantage on a red card foul.
There is no advantage on our
That's what he said.
I want to see that.
MLS referee.
I'm pretty
Look
sure.
at his look at his tweet. Look at his tweet to Total MLS and at Sounder at Heart. That's what he
I
said.
believe you. I believe you.
Does he reference a rule and line number?
Yeah,
He doesn't.
Because
He said
For my
Kevin Stott played a gutsy and correct advantage after this, very rare on a red card foul.
Yeah, I don't.
I
buy
can
it.
go 5 miles over the speed limit in a speed zone and be gutsy, but I'm still breaking the law. I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I always thought it was a stoppage of play. Much
I've
like,
never seen a red card after an advantage, but
Yeah.
I'm not a referee. I don't know.
The entire field just stops to maul the ref, whether it be that's not a red or that's absolutely a red. Like, who keeps playing after that? The guy's acting half the time anyway.
Yeah, usually you don't see much. Yeah, you don't see things go on. Yeah, 20 people are swarming the referee. If there's a
That's
challenge,
immediately, as soon as 20 people swarm, you're like, yeah, he's already said something about a red card, and now people are just trying to yell at him.
yeah, moving on to our Sunday game. Good old Fred comes in.
oh, you missed the game.
Oh,
No,
I
it's
did?
fine. You can skip it.
Oh, I did. Yes, I'm sorry. Oh, I missed it. Oh, it was between. I skipped over it to go to Vancouver, Portland, New York 2, Columbus 1. How could I forget?
Jesus.
In Columbus, the Mike Grella show. Just
It's because
stealing the day.
you were along with every other MLS rep that just does not respect the Columbus Crew SC.
I referenced
Do
it
not
earlier.
care. Uh-huh.
So was it a penalty, Kyle? New York's first goal.
I mean, I like to think so, but I to be honest, no. In my head, I would say yes, but no.
And then our good old Federico sent off for what the match center calls unsporting behavior.
Dude, that to me, like, I mean, he should have never been acting like that on a yellow, but
I like
like
I like that the match center uses the Canadian spelling of behavior, BEHAVIOUR.
yeah.
So that was a very Canadian behavior.
cut back to that referee thing.
Yes.
He can actually allow advantage. That's a good call.
There you go. See,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Corey knows his stuff.
Yep.
He's a good
And
referee.
Referee allows plays to continue when the team against which an offense has been committed will benefit from such an advantage and penalizes the original offense if the anticipated advantage does not ensue at that time. And that includes yellow cards and/or sending off offenses.
Well, I mean, I guess most of the time they stop it for a red because a red's normally more serious.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I guess that's why that's why they'll stop it. But
So I was wrong, and Corey, by all means, I apologize, but that's still freaking crazy. Never seen it before in my entire life.
Were you trying to take away from the Columbus Crew? and
No,
Red
I'm
Bulls?
just reading up on the rules.
Classic. Another classic evidence of everybody wanting to bypass the Columbus.
No one
It's
cares
like,
about the Crew. No
like
one cares.
I watched the highlights, so I don't know what happened.
Simon Borg agrees with you that it wasn't a penalty, but sorry, he got all Lloyd Sam's legs.
Yeah.
Sometimes Simon just, I think, he has
He
to-
anytime it's a penalty for the Red Bulls, Simon Borg automatically disagrees. So it's how you know.
That's also true. Yeah, I was honestly, they just played flat. They didn't deserve to win the game. I think this is the first time that they haven't owned the time of possession.
They've been such a
over
weird
a
team.
Like yeah,
Like the
it's-
first
they've
game,
been a weird team. They
the first
had
game I
so
saw them
much
play,
offense first-
yeah, in Houston when they played here, when I saw them play, I was thinking, hopefully the Dynamo get a draw, maybe they steal something. That was just, I mean, they were very flat in that game. And got beat.
They had a
And
lot
then-
more offense. Like they had more scoring chances.
Oh yeah,
than the
they
Dynamo.
could have scored 2 or 3 goals. Kamara got robbed.
Yeah, but he somehow has managed to do exactly what he did when he played for Columbus, and just kick the ball directly at the goalie or where his hands are. Like he and Jeff Cunningham loved thinking that they were really good by only kicking it to where the goalie was. Like it was saves counted as goals for them. So like, they did play flat. It didn't help that Trapp and Merrim were both gone.
Well, Trapp was injured, right? He didn't play because of injury, and then he was going with the under-23s. Like that I found, because I had saw a report earlier in the week that he was injured and that he was day-to-day, and then I saw a report that he was going to play, he was going to meet up with the under-23s after the game. So I wrote my preview figuring he was going to play because he was going to go to the under-23s after, and then he was in the lineup. I was really confused.
Yeah. I don't know, the whole thing, it kind of seemed, which is weird because they've established this lineup because they wanted to make it so that they could deal with injuries and all that, and it just didn't map out for them. I will still say that the best player on the field yesterday was still Grana on the right back position, but
I like Grana.
I love him. I think he's gonna be a force, and then somebody's gonna end up sniping him at the end of the season somewhere. They'll pay to have him play somewhere in Europe, but he's a great player. But just you can't come out flat like that, especially against one of the class teams of the East, and expect to win.
Yeah, well put. So we'll move on to Sunday, because we're about in an hour. Chicago beat Philadelphia 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. Chicago.
Just one Neil showed up to that game.
That's all I have to say about that game. If you watched it on ESPN, sorry.
You wasted your time. Yeah.
That's 90 minutes of your life you won't get back.
How many games in a row now Philly has had a red card against them, and all deservedly so?
Philly will slap you in the face if you don't watch out. They will come after you.
Harry Shipp looked pretty good though. I will say.
Yeah.
Harry Shipp's good. He's very up and down. I think a lot of it's probably that he doesn't have much to work with. The fact that Sean Maloney's DP there is still kind of scary, but hopefully Shipp continues to grow through this season because he's really their only bright spot. Sorry, Chicago fans, but there's not much going on. And
when's didn't McGee just say hopefully he'll start running this week?
Yeah.
McGee said at halftime with Taylor Twellman that he was going to start running this week. So hopefully McGee's back soon. We love Mike McGee.
Yeah, apparently Bradley Cooper was there too or something. So.
Yeah, that joke kind of failed.
Yeah, that was a terrible, terrible joke.
I'm glad that Taylor acknowledged that it was a failed joke because it was really bad. All right, so last game of the weekend, RSL 2, Toronto 1. Our friend Rob is having aneurysms. RSL scored early. Mulholland, a nice header, nice backpost run.
To be fair, that was a beautiful goal.
It was great.
Yeah, it was.
It was a great ball. It was a great run.
Better than Allen's.
Yeah, much better than Allen's.
Allen's was up for goal of the week. And then Mulholland got a yellow for the T-shirt lifting knee first slide, which is kind of dumb, but whatever. And
so is it you're not allowed to take your jersey off at all, or the lift over the head?
It could be. They could consider it an excessive celebration.
Yeah.
I guess anything that's quote-unquote excessive.
You're not supposed to take off a piece of clothing is the idea. But
take a
there's
selfie.
some kind of nipple showing issues there, or
Nipples equals yellow card.
Pat Jackson.
Mark it down. Nipple equals yellow.
If you learned anything on tonight's roundtable, nipple equals yellow card. So, and then Hagelin scored, which was a pretty nice goal.
Very
header of it on his own,
goal.
and for some reason it was called back. apparently the referee Schuler, I think it was Schuler, that fell down. It looked like Schuler stepped on Hagelin's foot and he kind of lost his balance, and Hagelin lost his balance. Schuler fell down, and Hagelin managed to kind of steady himself and then headed in. That's one of the worst calls of the season.
And a great header. Fantastic.
It was a great header, bottom corner, and it was all for naught.
Wall fall backward, like kind of just awkwardly, and it was cool, but I can't believe it fell back.
That's bad.
I mean, the ref could have thought he was watching the USA-Slovenia game and wanted to make the same call.
Yeah, that was like, I don't even. If I was a Toronto fan, I would be in a rage that Rob was in. I'll just say that. And then TFC legend Jackson comes off the bench, equalizes, which you think is going to be the equalizer to get him a point, and then TFC just does TFC things, and RSL literally walks back down the field within, I think it was like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Jordan Allen.
The best part was that Alexi Lawless actually said, "That is so Toronto."
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
And Jordan Allen just hanging out at the penalty spot, unmarked.
Yeah, I can't believe that crap. Man, come on.
The head's in the winner. I mean, it's just, it's a good win for RSL. I still think they have some work to do. They're not quite the
RSL of past.
The RSL that we've kind of been used to over the last 4 or 5 years. And Toronto, obviously, I mean, missing their 2 DPs is huge. Jovinko, everyone said this was kind of his spotlight to show off. He played well.
He had
he had some moments.
Well, he had the assist on the no goal.
Yeah, that was his corner that Hagelin headed in.
Oh, wasn't it a free kick that he?
Oh, was it? I don't know.
Yeah.
It was some kind of set piece from the side. But yeah, RSL, they win at home, which is kind of their thing. I don't know. Right now, I don't think they're a contender with the rest of the West guys. If you had, Dallas.
No, if Dallas and
LA,
Vancouver are in, I don't.
Seattle's probably ahead of them once they get all their guys back. So RSL has some work to do. Toronto, I wouldn't buy much into that game just because, like we said, they were without Altidore and Bradley. So that's.
But every loss that Toronto has is another step towards missing the playoffs, and that's what everybody.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yes, and you guys can take their flowers
Built,
from them.
not bought.
In the Trillium. The Trillium flowers.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I will say, Jovinko looked pretty damn good, too, at times. I mean, he's just so crisp.
He's just so tiny.
Yeah. He's atomic ant.
He's an atomic ant.
Yeah.
So that wraps up week 4.
So that's enough of that. All right, moving on.
Nipples equal yellow cards, remember.
Yep.
So we'll go with some famous last words here. Tyler, anything you'd like to add to put a bow on this week in
I think my quote of the week is nipples equal yellow cards, and yeah, I really hope that the Rapids can actually score a goal this week.
New England coming to town?
Yeah, it should be good. I'll be in stands, obviously, so
should be a good one. Should be a good one.
That'll be fun.
Mike, you guys are off again, right?
Yeah, we have
off 2 weeks ago?
our second bye in 5 weeks, and we played through the international, and we played through the international window. Way to go, MLS! Well, they moved the Montreal game
to October because of the Champions League. Yeah, but
they moved Colorado from the end of July to mid-April. So
whatevs. That's MLS for you. Kyle, you guys are off.
I'll just say that Columbus gets no respect.
No
if you've looked at the schedule, I don't know if you've seen the schedule. The It's unbelievable. We have another bye this Sunday, or this weekend. Then we fly all the way to Vancouver
On a
for
Wednesday.
a Wednesday game, and then
Cross
fly
country to
for
New
a
England.
Saturday game in New England.
Yes.
But
Oh,
That seems fair.
But we
Ah.
needed to have the bye week.
Yes,
So
you
Brian
couldn't have
McBride
it.
didn't get any respect. Jeff Cunningham didn't get any respect. And Pete Higuain will certainly not get any respect, and he won't be making that trip to Vancouver.
Damn. Wednesday in Vancouver and a Saturday in New England. That is rough.
at least it's not
Yeah.
a Saturday in Orlando.
Oh God, that's bad. That is rough.
It's terrible. It is. I cannot believe it. And the fact that they had a bye before a bye in between two home games, and then a bye on this coming weekend. That
Makes
to
no
me,
sense.
I just don't understand it.
It's pretty laughable at times, honestly.
The
Yeah.
scheduling's bad.
All right, so I don't have much to say. I'm hoping that the Dynamo go up to Seattle and at least be presentable. Hey, you never know. They stole a point in LA. Maybe they'll steal a point in Seattle. Who am I kidding? They probably won't.
Seattle invented stealing points.
Seattle invented match posters, too, if you haven't seen their new match poster for the Dynamo game.
LA. Didn't LA invent that? We could
Yep.
start doing that.
Everyone stole them from LA. Duh. All right, so that's the show for this week. Thanks to everybody who listened, watched. Enjoy the games this week. Talk to y'all next week. See you.